You know, I've never done drugs in my life, but after watching this movie, I feel like I have. So Climax is directed by Gaspar Noe and stars Sofia Boutella and a group of other awesome actors as French dancers who gather in a remote, empty school building to rehearse on a wintry night. The all-night celebration morphs into hallucinatory nightmare when they learn their sangria is laced with LSD. So I had never actually heard of this movie until my girlfriend introduced me to it, and we sat down and we watched it together, and this movie was quite the experience. Like, this was a pretty much just huge psychedelic trip into French cinema that I was not expecting. Now, most of the actors in this movie are unknowns. They are actually all real-life professional dancers, which is why you've probably not heard of them before. The one you would have heard of, though, is Sofia Boutella, who plays the lead, and I have to say, this is Sofia Boutella's best performance I've ever seen. I'm a big fan of Sofia Boutella, but I think she's really good in this movie, particularly because I believe she is a dancer as well, and you really get to see that, but also her performance. Like, she is so energetic in this movie, and so nuanced, and so real. You really feel it, and it just coming through the screen via her performance. And there's a particular scene, which I won't spoil for you, but there's a particular scene where she really lets loose, and it was fantastic to watch from a viewer's perspective. Now, the camera work and framing is what I consider to be the most impressive part of this movie, because there are particular shots that go on for extended periods of time. And I'm not talking about a few minutes, I'm talking about, I believe the longest shot in this movie is 45 minutes, or at least around there. That is insane. The fact that this movie can go that long and have the balls to not cut is very, very respectable. And like I say, it's not necessarily like this big kind of, you know, prolific thing. It's an artistic choice that the director wanted to make, and you get to see that in the movie, and it adds this sense of gravitas to the movie that it probably would not have had otherwise. And this film is filled to the brim with electrifying dancing sequences. The dancing in this is absolutely crazy. I come from a dancing background myself. I am actually a dancer. If you want to know specifically, I'm a break dancer. Now, this dancing in this movie is very, very different to what I do, but, you know, it's a very, very different style and very different culture of dance that I personally have never seen before and I've never experienced before. It's very expressive and it's very out there, but I feel like if you're from that background, you'll definitely be able to relate to that. Like I say, me personally, I come from a very different dancing background, but for these guys, you can definitely see it, and because these are professional dancers as well, they know what they're doing, and the sequences, they are electrifying. The music is euphoric. It's really awesome to watch these sequences, and I actually really want to go download the soundtrack for this movie because it's really good. I need to put a little note on that because that is a great idea. But the actual sequences in this movie, really impressive. Now, like I said, this movie is mental. It is balls to the wall. This might be one of the craziest films I've ever seen. Like I say, this movie is about a bunch of dancers being stuck in a house while they are all hopped up on LSD, and it's absolutely as crazy as that sounds. The amount of things that go on, the amount of things you see, this movie's dark, it's violent, it's a very real, very just in your face kind of movie, but not in your face in the way where it's shoving agendas or anything like that, just very in your face in the way it presents its themes. And I feel like that's what this movie had to do to get the message across, because there is so much going on in this movie. Even though it's a very, very simple premise, there are a lot of characters who have a lot of interplay, and these people have known each other for around 6 months. So when you see kind of their history and kind of what they've been doing together, you kind of get this feeling of, you know, anyone could really break at any minute, and that adds a sense of tension to the movie that I really didn't expect. Now, this movie is of course called Climax, and when you reach that eventual climax, with no spoilers of course, wow, I mean, the ending of this movie is crazy. I did not expect any of it at all. The way this movie ends is shocking. The way it ends is definitely profound, and you kind of walk away from the movie feeling a bit drained, to be honest, but drained in a good way. Like, drained as in the way you were thinking, like, what did I just experience? And you will walk away thinking about this movie for quite some time. And if a movie is able to stay in your mind for a good few days, that's definitely a good sign. Overall, Climax was this psychedelic trip into the world of dance and also the world of drugs that I did not expect to see. Like I say, I had no plans to see this movie, but once I actually did, I was just completely blown away by it. Like I say, it's crazy, it's balls to the wall, it's not going to be for everybody. Also, it is a French movie as well, so it is a foreign film. But if you are willing just to sit down and give it a chance and actually just have a look at it, at least, I think you will be completely taken with it, because it's one of those films that once you sit down, it's like a car crash. You want to look away, but you just can't. And it's one of those films that just grabs you and does not let go until the end. And when you come out, you feel like you've been on LSD yourself. So have you guys seen Climax? If you have, make sure to let me know all your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let's have a conversation about this movie in the comment section down below. And as always guys, if you want to see more movie reviews from me, be sure to subscribe, and I hope to see you guys again next time.